again in South Africa at our seminar. And this is Alex. You can see his name right here. He's a deacon, be a health minister in a few minutes when we graduate. And so, Alex, tell us about MMS in your life. How has it helped you?
Well, it was a great thing for me to come across MMS, in fact. Because first of all, I attended a workshop with Rene, and then they treated me with DMSO, and then the pain went away within an hour.
What pain? Where?
I had a pain on my neck and on my shoulder. And it went off for 3 weeks. That was wonderful. That was the first thing. So anyway, I took it on, and then I even went to the hospital, tried to ask people about if they got people who are HIV positive. Mm-hmm. Then they said no, they are afraid of repercussion thereof. So they could not give me a person because they were trying to blame me that, no man, you people, you see, what you know what you're doing? You bring someone, then you tell us that that person is sick, and after a while you come and claim that he has been treated by you with MMS. I said, no, I want your person from you who has been diagnosed by you people so that I can treat that person, and after 3 months I bring that person back to you and you diagnose that person and you see the difference, because I'm very much aware that HIV can be treated. No, they were afraid. They said, no, let's not kill the messenger. No, we cannot take that. Get away. Right. But then, let me tell you something about in my family. You know, every winter we go through coughs and all the colds.
Flu like.
But since I got MMS, I go through winter without any cold. Because even my family knows that they take that. Yeah. And I've been treating people, of course.
Okay.
In fact, I can tell it's about 5 people that have been bedridden with HIV.
Okay.
And they woke up and went back to their duties. Really.
That's great.
In my area in Davidton. So the problem is just that I don't know how to propagate this further, because people are afraid. So, you know, one of them, we had to bring him to the center for free treatment if he can disclose. And really, that person, it was in 2012, November. From November, December, January, February, he went back to his duties. But now he does not want to disclose. Whenever I come across him, he looks down.
Why would you be ashamed of being better? Right?
Yeah, I think so.
And you know,
yeah, the stigma.
People can be reinfected too.
Yeah.
Just because they're healed and cleaned out and it's gone, that doesn't mean they can't get it again if they live the same lifestyle, right?
Really.
So keep that spray bottle with you. Keep yourself clean whenever you're into having sexual relations and not sure, be on the protocol. Keep yourself clean, because you know people can get it again.
Yeah, really, it's true. Yeah. It's true.
And really, it's an autoimmune deficiency.
Yeah.
And the body's attacking itself. We don't know exactly the whole thing and how it works, but we're killing it, and it's going away. The people are in bed, skinny, emaciated, can't work, pain, all kinds of problems. Back to work, gaining weight, strong, like Zim, right?
Yeah.
So it's great. Keep going.
Sure.
Now you know more, right?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I think people are gonna get healed.
Yeah.
Because I aim high, not low.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy.
That's it.
We're here with Angel now. Angel has come from, where have you come from? Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And it's your first seminar?
Yes, it is.
Okay, she's soon to be a health minister in a couple hours. Isn't that nice? And Angel's going to give us a little bit of testimony that what's MMS done in her life, whether helping others or in herself.
Well, today I was a little skeptical about putting anything in my eye, and finally I decided to do it, and then my eyes start burning like crazy, so I wasn't happy. And then within 2 minutes, all of a sudden everything got brighter, and it's still brighter. I didn't realize. I just thought this was a dimly lit place, and that was what, maybe 2 or 3 hours ago, and everything is still brighter. So that was pretty neat.
Excuse me, and you've had any problems with your eyes over the last
yes.
years?
At one point I was diagnosed with glaucoma. And with cataracts. At one
Cataracts.
point, yes.
Okay. So yeah, if you keep on doing this that way, I imagine you're going to completely get rid of that.
What other kind of things have you dealt with MMS?
Well, the first time I took it, all my life, my feet and hands have been cold. And the first time I took it, I'm like, this is well, I wasn't too, this isn't doing anything, but I realized that night when I went to bed, my feet weren't cold. And
you didn't drink any whiskey, right?
No, I don't drink.
Not that.
How many drops was it, maybe?
I started out with 1 drop.
Just 1 drop?
Yeah. I kind of do my own protocol.
Yeah.
And then I'm 72, and I've always been a very avid reader. And I've noticed that when I read a chapter or 2, and then I have to put it down. I said, okay, well, I guess this is part of aging. And after being on, I got up to 5 drops, only once a day. What I noticed was the brain fog is gone, and I can read for hours again. Yeah. So that was.
How about dealing with anybody else with MMS? Does that happen?
Oh, I've had some pretty good results. One interesting thing, I have one of my patients, their mother was very ill. In fact, they said take the life support off. And I told her, about this MMS. And I told her, they're injecting it with IVs. She said, you know how to do it? I said, no, I don't. So she went on the internet. And about 5 days later, she called me about 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm thinking she's to let her her mother died. She says, you know what I'm doing? I said, no, frying chicken. So I'm like, you called me at 3 o'clock in the morning, to tell me you're frying chicken. She said, for my mother. I said, what do you mean? She's up and she's alert. I said, well, what happened? She said, well, she prayed and did a little research. And by being a diabetic, she had syringes. And so she inserted it in the IV bottle. And then her mother was just up and alert. And, it was, everybody's saying it's a miracle. Yeah. So that was.
That's why they call it miracle mineral supplement. We've changed it to master mineral solution, but Jim used to call it. It was like a miracle. People with malaria would get better in 4 or 6 hours, be in deathbed, next day walking around laughing. So.
And I have an AIDS patient.
Oh, okay.
He kind of went off on his own. I didn't tell him to do quite this much, but he took 15 drops 4 times a day. I would say for about 5 weeks. He said he got very sick and everything.
Yeah.
But now he's back to work doing construction work, and he went to the doctor, and he still tested that he has AIDS, but they're just like, how is this happening? Your blood working and everything, I don't understand. And that was the only thing he did.
What happens a lot of times with the tests, they won't be negative because HIV positive means they have the AIDS virus. That's what they say it means. But what happens 6 months, a year later, finally the blood will get rid of all the broken up white blood cells that are saying there's infections there. They're really dead. And some of those tests aren't even correct. There's a lot of reasons. So I asked the people, how does he feel? So this is why she's saying, he's gaining weight, he's working construction, he's feeling great. So are the tests correct? We know that a pregnant woman can be tested for HIV positive. Someone that's had a tetanus shot, and we know that they're looking for 47 antioxidants, autoimmune deficiencies, and any one of those pop up, you're HIV positive. So it's a really tricky
Also,
science.
if they get back on the ARVs, they will test positive.
Yeah.
If they get back on those.
But I do want to say one thing. The reason he did it that way was because he felt like he was dying. I mean, he looked like death.
Right.
He did get pretty sick. He told me that when he had a bowel movement, it burned.
Yeah.
You know, but it didn't do any permanent damage.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
just want people
Harsh.
to know, don't run
Harsh.
Don't go too
and
fast.
do this. But he just felt like this
Right.
was his
Well,
last chance.
well, she's here learning the new protocols, which are so mild, no side effects. It's wonderful. We were tortured when we first did it. That's all Jim knew, and it developed in Africa. My kids had MRSA, I had MRSA. Make these little kids torture them. And now it's so easy. And that's what's great about this.
Yeah.
Don't do what that guy did. But, you see, it didn't do any permanent damage, and he's cured, yet it's too tough. We
It
want
was
you to...
unnecessary to do that way, but he
This
did
is why
not.
it's
He did not
important.
know. So
It's why it's important for people to know exactly how to do it. We're getting better at it all the time. Thank you, Angel.
Okay, all righty.
Angel
thank you,
for coming.
Angel.
All righty.
Forward as the system, and the industry is a big part of the system, do not want it basically.
Yeah.
In the end, it's all about profits and power.
Mm-hmm. You have some interesting things to say about HIV and AIDS, because we've got some members who've been diagnosed with HIV and AIDS, and so I wonder, could you just talk a bit about that, about the diagnosis and how it's a, it's really it's kind of like a catch-22. There's no door.
I 2 years ago made an experience with a friend of mine, which told me I've got connections to the AIDS community in my country, and I've got even friends which have AIDS and HIV. I started telling her, how about if I send you a set of this mineral, my mineral, and I explain you everything that you need to know, and you will tell your friend which has AIDS, and he might want to give it a try. Mm-hmm. And this happened, this took place, and this person started to take this mineral for a month, and he got told back in 1997 again, has been diagnosed in 1997 with AIDS, and he started to take pharmaceuticals. After giving this mineral a try, without telling me, without informing me, he went to his doctor again and did another blood test, and the doctor said, "I'm sorry, you still have AIDS." This person, this friend of my friend, of course, was disappointed. You cannot imagine how, because he built up hope into this treating his AIDS. I told him then, you did not. If you would have told me that you were going to make a blood test, I could have told you what the result is, and I could have told you that if I would go to the doctor, and I'm pretty sure I don't have AIDS or HIV. If I would go to the doctor and let myself test in this, he would either tell me, you have AIDS, or I do not know. And it's basically because of how the tests, or how they test you on this disease, is built up.
Mm-hmm.
And it simply consists of the count of antibodies and antigens in your body. Now, antigens are producing antibodies, and if a certain antibody is in a big amount, they know this antibody gets produced inside your body when you have AIDS, and unofficially several other things. If this isn't a massive amount, the reason must be disease is present.
Mm-hmm.
AIDS, HIV is present. And then they will give you the stamp, sorry, AIDS. They actually do not look for the cause, for the virus itself. If we test ourselves under a flu or under malaria, we actually we can see the virus is there, it exists. But with AIDS test and HIV test, this is completely different. We are looking at a reaction, and it's a reaction which is not even the reason for that disease is present, and the reaction is a massive amount of antibodies. The doctor will say, alright, the reason must be AIDS, so you have AIDS, I'm sorry. And so the problem is also, if, let's say you would have AIDS and you produce a lot of antibodies to fight this illness, and let's say your illness would go, your antibodies will still stay. We have a very intelligent immune system and body, as I said. And your antibodies will stay simply because as a protection mechanism, we will stay. If you come back, we are ready. We are ready to fight again. And so they stay inside your body for weeks, months, or even years. And so in this time, if you test yourself again and you see still antibodies, big amount present, the doctor will give you the same stamp again, still AIDS present, you're still suffering with AIDS, keep on taking your pharmaceuticals. I told them, this person, and said, do not rely on the test. Do not, because you must know how the test is built up, which I just explained. Simply tell me, how do you feel? You have been diagnosed in '97 with AIDS. What are your symptoms? What are your pains, your issues? What do you suffer under? And he said, actually nothing. Basically, I don't have anything. I don't experience any pains. I don't have hair loss. I don't have bleached skin. I don't feel weak or loss of energy, anything. I feel identically the same before my diagnosis. And I asked him, did you ever, was there anywhere curious, or did it never interest you, and you went back to your doctor and asked, why is this? And he said, of course I did. And the doctor told me, well, you might have a strong immune system. And it maybe didn't make click to him, but instantly to me, it's like, do you know where it just went wrong? Do you know what just took place? Either this person, this doctor, did not know what he's talking about. I mean, he answered with, well, you must have a strong immune system, that's why you're not suffering under AIDS symptoms. But again, the doctor says, or his belief of AIDS is it lowers your immune system. But it's not taking place. Does the doctor not realize that, oh, maybe you don't actually have AIDS?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that the doctor knows exactly how he's testing AIDS, that he is looking for the antibodies. He knows what he's doing. In this right moment, and this was surely not the first time in history that this took place, did the doctors then not put the testing way into question? Were they not questioning, hey, by my understanding what I'm doing, I am now categorizing someone for AIDS, but this person is actually completely fine. And on the other hand, if this doctor would have answered, the tablets that you take do a very good job, then we officially have an AIDS cure, because the person is not suffering under any symptoms. This did not take place, and so the close-minded people are rather the doctors. I hope this experience with the doctor, and unfortunately do not have any contact with him, caused the spark of interest, and he puts things into question of what is going on. We have people which could categorize with AIDS, but they're completely fine.
Yeah.
Now, my position there was, I would have loved to tell this person with AIDS, you know what, maybe you do not have AIDS, maybe you never had AIDS. But this is now a walk on a very thin ice.
Yeah.
I could say this and could offend him, and he would shut every door and does not want to contact me again, because he was told over and over again by his doctors, you have AIDS, you have AIDS. All of a sudden the non-doctor comes and says the opposite. On the other hand, I somehow feel the force to let people wake up what is going on. Does it not cause interest? I don't say you need to believe me here. Don't believe me if I'm telling you you don't have AIDS. I don't even know for sure. But isn't it not interesting for you? Is it not maybe, we're talking about your health, we're talking about you surviving or dying. This should be the priority number one in your life.
Yeah.
Does this not consume your main interest? And this is the same thing with, what our work consists of, in giving people the spark of interest, in putting things into question.
Yeah.
Are we really suffering under illnesses which can kill us, or is it all just a manufacturing process or a selling process? Because this person, since 1997, this is now 11 years of his life, he's been buying pharmaceuticals for a lot of money, and for surely thousands and thousands of euros and dollars, for maybe nothing.
Yeah.
And this happens a million or even billion-fold.
And the only way to get out of the cultural hypnosis is to question everything. That's in my understanding. The only way to get out of it is to question everything, including our own thoughts, including our own beliefs, our own thoughts, is just to question them, because they've come from somewhere, and most of the time we've been programmed, we've been hypnotized, and that's why, like a doctor who's a scientist who's incredibly intelligent, being able to deduce different things, can actually sit there and see that the person's, his patient's immune system is strong, he's showing no symptoms, and and still telling him he has AIDS because some test says so. The only reason he can do that is because he's hypnotized, and he's not questioning what he's been told. But if you start to question that, that's when you can start to break away from that hypnosis. And we watched a documentary recently on AIDS, and the doctor testing, she's been questioned, and the people who are being tested for AIDS, I think it was over in Africa. It was in Africa, wasn't it? Yeah, and they had to fill in a questionnaire first of all and answer questions. Questions like, do you have unprotected sex? How often? Are you homosexual? And do you take drugs? And do you take injectable drugs? All those sorts of questions. And why would they have to fill that in? They're going in for an AIDS test. You either have it or you don't, right? And then the interviewer asked the doctor, does this questionnaire, does this have an effect on whether the AIDS test comes back positive or negative? The doctor goes, oh yes.
So if you would take on homosexual and take drugs, all right, you have AIDS.
Yeah, it comes back, Yeah. So it's, there you can see straight away there's the hypnosis.
Yeah.
The hypnosis is in there. Very, very powerful.